My parents were both raised to believe in God. My father was raised Catholic, so they both agreed to raise their children Christian.
My father was Catholic and my mother was Lutheran, or is Lutheran. Um, and so they do not practice the same religion as I do. Wouldn't say it's affected my relationship with my mom. While she doesn't necessarily not care, she does think that whatever I choose for myself is right for myself, and she's fine with that. I wasn't talking to my dad at the time. He was an alcoholic, and for my own mental health, I didn't speak to him.
My father is Southern Baptist, and my mother is a very devout Christian. But my mother is much more accepting of people and their walks of life than my father is. He's very cut and dry. And my mother was like, this is what I do. You're your own man. You will discover things in life on your own.
Friends did affect my religious experience. I am a person that when I make friends with people, I want to find something I have in common with them. And when I was a child, I took that to mean that I had to have something in common, and I would change my opinions to be the same as my friends.
When a person tells you they found God, to me, that's way different. Because when you found someone, like my mother said, when she found Jesus, in the way she described it, I'm like, she would die for that man, and it was powerful.
When I was a child, I had read a lot of Bible stories, and I loved the Bible stories, but I became very upset that God didn't speak to me in a strong voice like in the stories. And so that was really difficult for me as a child, and I talked to my parents about it, and I cried, and they explained to me that, God doesn't speak to everyone in the same way, and God doesn't speak to everyone in a strong voice like that.
That really messed me up as a kid, because everybody's like, oh, you feel it, you'll know. They'll be like, oh, just give it time, it'll come to you later. And I remember being like 5 and 6, sitting in church, not feeling it, and my mother saying, oh, wait till you're older. And then fast forward all the way to 18 years old, and I'm like, I've waited till I was older, and nothing has changed. This isn't me. This isn't for me. This doesn't sit right in my heart.
And I think I accepted Jesus into my heart at that point, even though it didn't feel extremely right. It was what I did.
And it just took me a little time to realize it's okay. I might not be a Bible character, but that doesn't mean God's absent from my life.
I think sophomore year, I made friends with a girl who said she was atheist, and to be friends with her, I said that I was atheist. And I said that I was atheist for a really long time, up until like 19 or 20. And then I more identified as agnostic. I believed that there was something there, but I didn't really know what it was.
Like, I try to be as loving and accepting of others as possible, but there are some maybe more old school beliefs that I'm not as well aligned with.
I am technically not a Jew yet. I have been in the process of converting for about 2 years. The process has been quite a journey. To become Jewish, there's a lot of study, and then you have to speak to a panel of 3 really learned people. Usually a rabbi is included, at least one. And then you do a mikveh, which is a ritual bath.
It kind of just hit me at first, because when I heard about it and when my friend started explaining everything that he laid down, like the guidelines and like the practices and the belief system, and I was like, it just hit me. I was like, this is me. Everything sort of clicked. One of the rituals was around Christmas time. I believe it's called or sometimes I may be getting it a little wrong, but you pretty much, your God, you offer up a sacrifice to it. And me, I chose Odin, and it may seem a little barbaric, but Odin likes knowledge. So when I say, hey, yeah, I gotta burn a book. People look at you like, what? And I'm like, no, man, not anything crazy. It's what I have to do, because he requires knowledge of this generation and things that he doesn't know. So I would find something that I'm really interested and passionate in, and I would burn it so that he can receive it.
I am queer, which is frowned upon in some sects of Christianity. I was, as they say, living in sin for a while with my partner. So some things like that. I think that I overall am a good person, and I do my best to not harm other people, and I try to do what's considered right. Not everything I do is strictly Christian, though. I would probably be considered a more progressive Christian, but I am sometimes ashamed to share that title with some people that use God as a way to progress their hateful agenda.
You have some people who are like Viking is in their blood, and that will use that to be like, well, you're from another race. What are you doing practicing this? I know several gangs who are heathens that are hardcore racists.
I have felt ashamed of how other people perceive us. For example, I think that there's a lot more to the Jewish community than just the Holocaust. We are more than just that. I wish that we could be perceived as more than just a victim of this horrible crime that happened. We're strong people. I would say let it all happen in time. I was 24 before I started looking into Judaism and realized how important it was to me. I think it's the same with anything in life. It can happen at any point in time.
If you're struggling, like, take a break. Just stop letting whatever about your religion, like, cause you so much turmoil, and just sit back and just reflect on why you believe in what you believe in.
You don't have to stick with what you were raised with, but you don't have to turn away from what you were raised with either.
I think a lot of religious leaders are good people to go to and talk to if you feel safe with them. Not necessarily members of your own church, but maybe a similar church or a totally different one might have something new for you that helps you figure out where you're supposed to be.
But it will take time to figure yourself out. And if you're young, it's okay if you don't know what you believe in. You'll figure it out one day.
It has to sit right in your heart at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, it's just you. You can't run from anybody. You can't run from anybody. It's just you. So you have to be at peace with yourself. And if you're religious, especially with your religion.
You're not always going to know, but it takes time, and as with most religions, it's a faith thing, and you can't fake faith.